SABC's Prime News. We'll be taking you live to the Eastern Cape to speak to the Mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay shortly, who faces possibly the chop this week. But first, in other news.
Yes, indeed. In the meantime, the Western Cape ANC says Cape Town Mayor Patricia de Lille is free to join their party if she so wishes in the near future, although no formal invitation has been extended to her in this regard.
De Lille's political future in the DA is unclear following claims of misconduct in the city of Cape Town. She faces charges of mismanagement relating to an alleged cover-up. De Lille recently survived a motion of no confidence against her in the city with the help of the ANC caucus. She says reports that she's talking to the ANC are all speculation.
Well, they were fueled by her hugging of President Cyril Ramaphosa at the Cape Town International Jazz Festival this past weekend. The provincial leaders of the ANC appear to be playing their cards close to their chest.
Now, politicians in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro are preparing for the EFF's motion of no confidence in Mayor Athol Trollip on Thursday. This could mark the end of a coalition which has allowed the DA to govern the Metro with support of late from the EFF. Initially, the EFF voted for Trollip to ensure the ANC did not gain the reins of the Metro. Recently, it made a U-turn and says it will remove Trollip to punish the DA for refusing to support its motion for land expropriation without compensation in the National Assembly. Well, coming to us live from PE now is the DA Mayor, current DA Mayor Athol Trollip. Mr. Trollip, thank you for being with us. Are you preparing right now to vacate office? From PE now is the DA Mayor,
Absolutely not. We worked really hard to get into office, and we're certainly not just going to give up this position. 47% of the people in the city voted for the Democratic Alliance, and we have just short of a 50% representation in council in our coalition, and we're certainly not getting ready to vacate office because Julius Malema has decided that he wants to get rid of us.
Who are you courting right now? The talk is that the DA is aligned with COPE and with the ACDP, so that gives you your 57 seats plus 2. Right now, the talk is that the DA is aligned.
Yeah, they've been our coalition partners from the outset. They've been extraordinarily loyal partners. They've observed every provision of our co-governance agreement, and it's been an absolute pleasure and honor working with people like the representatives, Councillor Grootboom from the ACDP and Councillor Jadu from COPE.
That gives you 59 seats, though. The ANC 50 plus EFF 6 plus UDM 2 plus the smaller parties 2 more at least gives them 60. So that means you're going to lose.
It's one thing saying that you're going to put a vote of no confidence and you're going to win it, and another thing to actually have it done. We have survived a vote of no confidence already, and I believe we'll survive this vote of no confidence. All those political parties you assume will cooperate with the ANC and the EFF, but there's some travails with that regard, because those parties, if they do throw their lot in with the ANC and the EFF, it'll be the end of their identity as one-man political parties. So the leadership of those parties will have to take a decision about whether they go the ANC route or whether they go the route that the DA has offered of change, of clean governance, of corruption-free government. And I believe that sanity will prevail. Julius Malema has made this a racial issue. People in South Africa eschew racial polarization, and they've turned their back on that a long time ago. Too many painful experiences with racial polarization, and people are not going to go down that route again. Yes, the people that will be voting on Thursday are councillors, but those councillors represent constituencies and communities, and they also have leaders who will be giving direction. And I don't believe that we're going to be going anywhere on Thursday.
The land issue and race has been very conflated. Do you believe that you've been targeted, perhaps targeted first because you're a white man? The land issue and race has been
well, I don't believe perhaps. It's absolutely abundantly clear that that's what the EFF have done. The EFF in 2000 and 16 in August said that they have chosen the better of two devils, the ANC representing the devil of corruption and the DA representing opposition to their position on property rights. We have been very clear that we believe in the right to own property that's enshrined in Section 25 of the Constitution, and we oppose expropriation without compensation. But the EFF knew that, and they chose the DA. I was white then, and I'm white now. But they decided at the motion that they put in Parliament for expropriation without compensation in collaboration with the ANC, Julius Malema took a unilateral decision that he'd remove me. But that had nothing to do with punishing us because of our position, because the rumor was already out in December where an ANC representative said they will remove a DA mayor from one of the metros and it won't be a black mayor. So you don't have to be a genius to know that the target was me. And now the target is very definitely me, and Julius Malema has made it unambiguous. He says that they will cut the throat of the DA's whiteness. I believe that's a racist statement. They have made a decision based purely on the color of my skin, which hasn't changed. And we've been negotiating with them for a long time. So essentially the only thing that's changed is Julius Malema's mind, and he changes his mind a lot. If you look at his flip-flopping on positions ever since the EFF came into existence, you will see that they've changed their minds on just about every single thing.
You say that people are turning against the EFF, but we've run a poll this evening. I don't know if you saw it, but we did ask, do you support the EFF's motion of no confidence in Athol Trollip as Mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay? The response is overwhelmingly yes. So this is a Twitter following, but that would suggest, does it not, that there is political support for your ousting? The response is overwhelmingly yes. So
absolutely. I happen to have a Twitter account, and I encounter those Twitterati that support Julius Malema's motion on a daily basis. But we have a much more significant poll that we recently had in this city. Not even 3 weeks ago, there was a by-election in the city, and the EFF were one of the contestants. The DA went from 85% to 92%. The ANC went from 11% to 5%. And the EFF got 0.4%. They came fourth after spoilt ballots. And one of the voting stations in that ward was at the university. So if you take that poll, there isn't any kind of appetite for what the EFF are offering in this country. They are offering racial polarization, racism, and absolutely no future. They are offering something of a better yesterday when we offer something of a better tomorrow for all of us.
Mr. Trollip, do you take any responsibility for being, in a sense, a sitting duck here? You spoke about those smaller parties saying you believe sanity will prevail, but you haven't stitched that up. You haven't got their support in advance. You can't say confidently they're on your side. Is this not about relationships with smaller parties? Last year, the UDM accusing you of a whole lot of things, trying to oust you. Do you believe you may have mishandled serious political relationships?
I absolutely do not think that I've mishandled our political relationships. In politics, you've got to have principles. And if you sign an agreement with a coalition partner and they break every single one of those agreements and they vote against you in every single council meeting, the days of having a coalition with them will come to an end. And that's what happened with the UDM. Over 8 months, we tried to negotiate with them. I wrote Bantu Holomisa personally 26 letters. I met with him on a number of occasions to explain to him what his councillor was doing. He simply would not listen. I found it really ironic on Carte Blanche the other evening that he was blaming the ANC for letting Jacob Zuma getting away with literally murder in South Africa and corruption on an unprecedented scale, when he did exactly the same thing with his councillor in Nelson Mandela Bay. So that wasn't a bad relationship problem. We tried everything, and it's on the record, numbers of meetings with all the political parties involved in our coalition. Bantu Holomisa would simply not hear anything about his candidate. Now, that was a choice that they made. They have now said that they will vote with the ANC. That will be the end of the UDM. Good luck to the UDM. But you're making an assumption that we haven't spoken to other political parties. We've been speaking to every political party since we've been in government. We know that in a coalition, you need to build relationships. We are doing that. We're doing it on a daily basis. In fact, there are people talking to those members right now this evening. We were talking to members of other political parties until very late last night, and we will continue to do that until the last minute On Thursday morning at 8 o'clock, when we go into that council meeting, we are going to defend this coalition. We believe the majority of the people wanted change in this metro. They got change, and we represent that change, and we will defend it doggedly to the last minute.
There are reports that the ANC doesn't want the position of mayor, doesn't want to govern, scared of what may happen in the future. If it's not a victory for you, you're confident about that. If it's not, it could be a smaller party. Will the DA still do their best for the people of Nelson Mandela Bay?
We'll continue doing just that. We went from being the second least trusted metro in 1 year to the second most trusted metro in South Africa on the BizTech poll. So we believe that we have shown in the last 18 or 19 months that we have turned the city around. There's still a lot of work to be done. We commit ourselves to that work, and we will make sure that corruption will not be tolerated in the city, that we will improve service delivery, and we'll do everything in our power to address youth unemployment. Cyril Ramaphosa was talking about that today. Long before he started talking about it, we've had an unemployed graduates program where we're identifying unemployed graduates in the city, putting them on a database, encouraging businesses to take them on in internships and offer them artisanships. So we are busy. We are busy in the city. We plan to continue being busy. And in 3 years' time, at the end of this term of office, you won't recognize Nelson Mandela Bay. And after our next term in office, this city will be the next best thing in South Africa.
All right, thank you very much for your time this evening. Coming to us live from PE, the Mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay, Athol Trollip, who faces that motion of no confidence this week, raising a lot of questions about coalition politics, Bongani.